In this video, we are going to be talking about the importance of teaching students how to discriminate all of the phonemes in a language. The science of reading demonstrates that in order to become an efficient reader, students need to have well-developed phonemic awareness. This is the ability to hear each sound in spoken words. So it goes back to the orange part of the hourglass figure. For some people, it is very difficult to hear sounds. So educators must teach these students how to see and feel the sounds required for reading and spelling. It is particularly important that educators provide Black and Latino students with science-based interventions, as these groups attain lower academic achievement. And if you want to know more, here is the nation's report card. We will explore each of the English phonemes. Despite popular belief, Spanish speakers also need phonemic awareness development. We will begin with consonants, sounds, and then they will be introduced in the place of articulation. So starting with the front of the mouth and ending with those sounds made towards the back of the mouth. Letter names and sounds don't necessarily need to be taught in this order. So please follow your program scope and sequence. We're just going through the order this way because this is how it's made in the mouth. It may be helpful to sit in front of a mirror or have a hand mirror close by, or even use the camera on your phone. If possible, work with a study buddy. Here is the order in which we will be learning the 44 phonemes. This information is very detailed and may be overwhelming at times. When practicing, take frequent breaks. Our students need educators who are ready to teach them how to read and write. You've got this. If you want to know a little bit more about the importance of doing this type of work, I invite you to check out this video by Linda Mood Bell. Why is it important to know about voicing, place of articulation, and the location of the chin, etc.? Because we need to better support our students, help understand the complexity of language, and understand the differences among different ways that English can be spoken by Black, Latino, EL communities. Have you ever wondered why the S in the word bugs sounds like a Z? Have you ever been confused by the three sounds of the suffix ed? Have you ever been frustrated trying to explain all of these differences in the vowel sounds? Well, this information will shed much needed light on the complexities of language. It will allow teachers to help students master reading and writing because there will be a rhyme and reason for most of these patterns. We will use contrastive analysis to compare how speakers of Spanish and African American English produce and pronounce various phonemes. I am using the Phonology Contrastive Analysis table from Volume 2 of the Letters Manual, which begins on page B23. And since I'm from Massachusetts, my pronunciations will reflect those of New England. I'm also a native Spanish speaker, and so I do not say park the car in Harvard Yard. My accent is a little different. If you live in a different region, make the necessary adjustments to reflect your dialect and the needs of your students. This video series is amazing. It's a linguist who sort of takes us on a tour of the United States and explains the different variations in accents and dialects and the reason why. In a nutshell, it's because of colonization and migration patterns, and so we tend to speak differently based on where the colonizers came from and who was sort of in charge of us. It speaks about African American English and the English of the First Nations and how language is lost, how language has been adapted, how it's changed, and how it's continuing to evolve. It's amazing. Alrighty, so let's get started with the consonants. Here is the consonant chart. So this kind of represents the place, so that's where the sound originates, and the manner, so how it exits our mouth. If you want some more details, this video is excellent. Alright, consonants tend to obstruct air, so I will do my best to pronounce the sounds without adding the schwa. First on the list are the stops. The stop sounds are made with one push of air. So we have p and b. First, you're going to say the sound in isolation using a mirror. So p. Watch what your mouth is doing. Put your hand in front of your mouth and feel how much air is being produced. For the p sound, it's sometimes helpful to get like a piece of paper and put it in front of the child or student so that they can see exactly how much force is coming out. Then gently touch your throat. P, p. What do you feel? P. Is your voice box on or off? If your voice box is off, p, p, then you will not feel any vibrations. So we call it unvoiced. Now let's say the second sound. B, b. Again, say it, b. Then put your hand in front of your mouth or use a sheet of paper so you can actually see the effects. B, b. Now place your hand on your throat. B, b. This sound is voiced. So if you compare p, b, the b sound is voiced. So your voice box or your throat, your larynx is on. Take a minute to explore the similarities between the two. All right, so these can be known as lip poppers. Both sounds are made with the lips together and the sounds are pushed out. P is unvoiced. The vocal cords are turned off and a big puff of air is pushed out. B is voiced. The vocal cords are turned on, and if you've noticed, it was a smaller puff of air that was pushed out. This is very similar to Spanish. In African American English, the B sound is sometimes pronounced as a voiceless P. So web could be pronounced as web. Also, when P is in the final position, it is not fully articulated. For example, beep could be pronounced as beep. Next, we have T and D. Okay, so say the first sound, T. If you want, use a piece of paper, your hand, T. Feel how much air is coming out. Place your hand over your throat, T, T, and notice what you feel. Now say the second sound, D, D. Put your hand in front of your throat, D, D. Now take a minute and explore the similarities and the differences between the two. All right, so these can be known as tip tappers. Both of the sounds are made with the tongue on the ridge behind the teeth. The T is unvoiced. The vocal cords are turned off and a strong puff of air is pushed out. D is voiced. The vocal cords are on and less air is pushed out. In Spanish, the T is made right behind the teeth, and the letter D has two slightly different pronunciations in Spanish. So this video on the letter D will provide some more information. Now, in African American English, the D sound is sometimes pronounced as the voiceless T. Had could be pronounced as hat. Next, we have K and G. So say the first sound, K. Excellent. Now put your hand in front of your mouth and feel how much air is being produced. K. Gently place your hand on your throat. K. Notice what you feel. Now say the second sound, G. Feel how much air is coming out. G. Excellent. Now take a minute to explore the similarities and differences between the two. These can be known as tongue scrapers. Both of these sounds are made in the back of the throat. The tongue scrapes the roof of the mouth. K is unvoiced and can be represented with the letters C, the letters K, the letters CK together, and sometimes the CH for words of Greek origin, like cat, kite, pick, or Christopher. The letter G is voiced and can be represented with the letter G, and this is very similar in Spanish. In African American English, the G sound is sometimes pronounced as the voiceless K. Sag can be pronounced as sack. All right, to review, there are 6 stop sounds in English made with one burst of air. We have P, B, T, D, K, and G. Great work.